Hello and welcome back to Arglefumph Talk, the video series where I answer your questions. I've been doing Arglefumph Talk this entire week and I've basically reached the ending point. This is what happens whenever I do these vlog videos. Basically, I run out of questions that I really like, and I've got a list of like 20 or so questions which are good, but I don't think they're interesting enough to make a video out of. So I'm just going to answer all of these questions really quickly. So this will be the final video of Arglefumph Talk for a while. I'll just answer all these questions which weren't long enough or maybe interesting enough to be their own videos. So what do I think about George Fayne not being in any character since Nancy Drew, Alibi, and Ashes? Well, you know, honestly, it doesn't bother me. That was 3 games ago, right? 3 or 4 games ago. I don't mind with George being gone for 3 games. Really, I think part of the reason why I'm not worried about George being gone is the fact that we've had interesting characters as support characters. So, for example, Carson Drew is going to be a support character, the phone call conversation character in the next game. Let me see, we've also had Deirdre Shannon. She was a nice phone call conversation person, and we've had the regular phone call conversation people, the Hardy Boys, Bess and Ned. Bess and Ned, and we've also had Professor Hotchkiss. She's a fun phone conversation person. And I can't help but feel that I'm forgetting somebody. Samantha Woodham, yeah. So, you know, we've had a bunch of interesting phone conversation people. I'm not worried about missing just one phone conversation person. Do I have all of the Nancy Drew games? No. Will I do another walkthrough for Danger on Deception Island? No, probably not. When I've replayed Nancy Drew games, which I've only done twice, I did that with White Wolf of Icicle Creek and Legend of the Crystal Skull. People don't really watch the new version of the games. People are perfectly fine just watching my original walkthrough. They don't want to watch the second walkthrough, because really the second walkthrough is basically the exact same thing. What game in the Nancy Drew series have I not replayed that I want to replay? Alibi and Ashes. I really want to replay it. I've just lost my copy of the game. What do I think about My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic? It's an okay series, I guess. It's not really that good, to be honest. There's singing, and I don't really like the singing in that show, to be honest. Even though some of the songs are good, I don't really like the singing. And if I'm generous, I'd say that 1/4 of the episodes are actually good enough to watch more than once. Pretty much, like, 70, 75, 80, 90% of the series. Just watch it once, and that's all. You don't really need to rewatch it. It's not good enough. There's, like, no really deep hidden messages you're missing out on. Have I done any cooking lately? I think the reason somebody asked this is because I'm just really bad at cooking. I have a reputation for that. So for today, I was cooking one of those Marie Callender meals, and the broccoli somehow exploded in my microwave. So I was just standing in my microwave, it's like, what's that sound? Boom, boom, boom. Broccoli exploding. So, do I cook often? No, usually not, because I'm bad at cooking. But I'm doing the microwavable meals because they are harder for me to mess up. Will I play Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess? Maybe. I don't know. I've done a text walkthrough for the game, so I have played the game before. I have beaten the game before. It's okay. I just don't feel like doing another Legend of Zelda series, just because the last one I did took forever. It's like 80 videos, 80 long videos. Plus, Twilight Princess is a game where they spend a lot of time just wasting time. There are a lot of fetch challenges in between the dungeons, which are just time wasters, and I didn't really like it. Really, the second half of the game I don't like, except for the Sky dungeon and the Yeti dungeon. Everything else is just meh. Meh. Am I going to play other Samantha Swift games? Probably not, probably not. The second game is a good game. I don't know how to get it on my computer. It's on my old computer, and so I really can't play it. Third game was horrible. Fourth game was just okay. Am I going to finish the Awakening series? If I get enough people who want me to do that, I will. I need to play game number 4, and I'm told game number 5 just came out. I played game number 4 for myself. It's like, yeah, it's good, it's okay. I'm not sure the Awakening series is so popular. I think I scared everybody off with my second video walkthrough. You know, my walkthrough for the second game in the series, where I made so many jokes about jigsaw puzzles, it just annoyed everybody and they stopped watching the Awakening series. What future games do I want to play? Let me go get some. I've got them... Actually, let me get something else as well. Sitting on my desk. I've had these things sitting on my desk for months now. Infinity City, this is a children's game. I forget when I first played this. I don't know, Infinity City, it's... I don't really want to play the game. I want to play the game for these challenges. Monkey Sue and Zach, he had some good songs. These other characters, did not like them at all. Did not like any of their challenges. It was not good. And Treasure Mathstorm, I want to play that. I want to figure out... I finally got the copy of the game which I had when I was a kid, which took me forever to find. Let's see. Version 2.0, so it's very specific. It's a very specific version of the game that I wanted to get, because that's the version of the game I can actually beat. And also I've got Nancy Drew, Stay Tuned for Danger, which I want to read. What's my favorite Disney movie? Really, I just remember the older Disney Channel movies, which they don't show anymore. I think the only one they show is Luck of the Irish, and they play that on St. Patrick's Day, and that's the only time you play that. There's the movie Turning 13, where the guy turns into the mermaid. Really, there's also the one with Tyra Banks and Lindsay Lohan. Life Size, that was a good one, that was okay. So I really would have to look up the list of the old Disney Channel movies. So until I do, let's just go with High School Musical, because that's a popular one everybody likes. I understand that the big Disney Channel movie this year was Teen Beach Movie. I am confused. Why would they make a beach movie? It also confused me when Big Time Rush made their beach movie. Do people even know what beach movies are? The last beach movie was made when President Lyndon B. Johnson was in office. So that would be the early 1970s. So modern teenagers have not watched beach movies growing up. Their parents are too young to have seen beach movies in the theaters, in most cases. So really, it's like, why are we making jokes about movies that came out 40 years ago? It just seems very, very untimely. A weird thing to parody. Did I ever watch 90210? Beverly Hills 90210. Nope, never watched it. Have I ever traveled overseas? Yes, I went to Canada in March this year in order to watch a hockey game between the Vancouver Canucks and the San Jose Sharks. I'm actually wearing my Shark shirt right here, San Jose Sharks. Well, the San Jose Sharks won, so it was good. I got to see the American team beat the Canadian team in Canada, so that was very nice. The problem was I drove home the following day, and the people at customs stopped me because they saw I was from the same town as the team that beat them the previous night. So it was a pretty severe customs check. They stopped me at the border, they had me declare everything, they went through all of my belongings and luggage and that sort of thing. So I'm like, really, guys, I'm sorry your team lost, but you don't have to be mean about it when I'm trying to go back home. It's okay, you know, it only delayed me about an hour or so going back home, so it wasn't that bad. Do I like science fiction? Science fiction is okay. You know, it's okay. I really don't watch that much science fiction. I haven't read any science fiction books recently. Do you like The Legend of the Knights of the Round Table? Haven't heard it since 7th grade, 6th grade at least. Don't remember anything. Sorry. I remember the story of the magical cap, which either made Arthur invisible or it changed his appearance. Something like that. If I had to choose a Nancy Drew villain to make a comeback in a game, who would it be? I would probably pick the character who wanted to make a comeback. The culprit of Nancy Drew, the Captive Curse. That culprit said that he or she would make a comeback, and so, you know, I think that would be nice. If I had to choose a different villain, though, I'd probably pick off of which culprit is the most memorable or which culprit was the most scary. Something like that. Question, I know you like Mary Poppins. Do you also like Bedknobs and Broomsticks? That would be a movie I have not seen within the past decade. Maybe even the past 2 decades, so I don't remember a thing about it besides for the fact that there is an animated lion and people go flying on beds. And really, you could tell that by looking at the cover of the movie. What is my opinion on the Wizard of Oz series? It's great, it's fantastic. L. Frank Baum is just a really good author, and even when he's writing poorly, you know, when he's doing a book which is really bad, it's still really, really good, relatively. So, you know, a book which is bad for him is still pretty good, rather decent. So, I'm thinking like TikTok of Oz, for example, which is just a bad book for him. But it's still interesting enough. You know, I still managed to make a Broadway musical off of it, I think. Who is my favorite superhero? Nancy Drew. Am I fluent in any languages? I speak fluent English and American. I kind of speak Spanish. To keep up my Spanish, I read comic strips in Spanish, so every day I read the Snoopy comic strip, and the Garfield's comic strip, and the Calvin and Hobbes comic strip, in Spanish. I read the Spanish versions of those comics. So that's how I keep up with my Spanish. But am I fluent in Spanish? No, I can only understand, say, like 60 to 70% of what people are saying in Spanish. You know, when I hear people talking in Spanish all the time. Have I read Beowulf? Again, that's something I haven't seen since 6th grade, so I don't really remember it, besides for the fact that there's a monster called Grendel. Childhood favorite game. I would go with DuckTales 2 for the NES if I had to pick an NES game. DuckTales 2, MC Kids, or Super Mario Brothers. I always pulled out the Super Mario Brothers for the multiplayer. It was good. Favorite color? Green. Favorite cartoon character? I guess I'll go with Homer Simpson or SpongeBob SquarePants. I'll pick a character that everybody likes. Have I ever read the Animorphs series? Yes, Animorphs is fantastic. I pretty much have the series memorized, except I don't. My favorite character is Marco, who is pretty much everybody's favorite character. Axe is probably one of the best narrators. I never really cared for Tobias as a narrator, just because he's so angsty and he doesn't really get anything done. I don't mind Cassie as a narrator, I just don't find her books as exciting as the other books. Some people really hate Cassie-narrated books because they think she's boring and she's way too concerned with ecological issues. I didn't mind. I didn't think that was bad. Rachel books, half of them were interesting, half of them weren't. I was kind of more interested in, how do I put it? Like, Rachel undergoes a really huge transformation. So her first book is more concerned with domestic concerns, like her friend Melissa Chapman. And Melissa Chapman completely drops off the map after that book. And then it sort of changes to Rachel being evil and angry and mean, and that was not as good in my opinion. Then again, I didn't really like the book with Jeremy Jason McCall. Which was that? Book number 12, I believe. So, Rachel narration, you know, she shoots about 50-50, so does Jake. Marco is usually funny, though, and Axe is usually funny. I just feel kind of bad that Axe didn't get more books to narrate, that's all. Everybody feels bad about that, though, because Axe was fun. And the final question is about me playing the piano. Well, I don't have my keyboard anymore because I moved away, so I haven't been playing it. And that's it, everyone. That is it for the questions in Arglefumph Talk. Thank you very much for watching.